Elisa Gracci.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Jay. Hello, everyone. Thank you. All right. Well, it's such an honor. Ah! Now I'm really going to start to blush. So no, it's a real honor to be here. And before I even start, I really want to say a big thank you to Jordan and Kristen and the incredible team that put this on. There's so much incredible value here. So could we give them another big round of applause? Thank you to you guys. And I have to give a shout out because I think I'm the only Canadian keynote. So to all my Canadians, where you at? Right? Okay. So it is a true honor to be here, and I'm really excited because I'm going to walk you through something that I feel is really the heartbeat of your business. And how many of you want to start a movement? Right? Okay, so I hope that I can help add some value here for you because when we can really understand the concept around building community and developing a culture, you're going to feel so empowered. You're going to feel so unshakable because it's going to create a lot of clarity around certain things for you. So to get started, I'm gonna break this down into two parts because there really is two parts to this. And we're gonna start it off with culture. And when I think of culture, there's quite a few components to that for me. And it's gonna incorporate your core values. It's gonna incorporate the beliefs that you carry around these core values. It's also gonna incorporate the behavior that's in alignment with these values and your mission, your vision. So it's pretty full encompassing, all right? So we're gonna start off with core values. And I'm gonna ask you guys to do me a little favor, pull out, of course, we all have our pens and pads ready to go, but in order to get your mind really jogging and thinking, it's interesting because over the years, it's been 6 years actually, Jay, but over the last 6 years, what I've noticed is that a lot of people, when I speak to them, they're not actually very clear on what their top core, non-negotiable values are, like what they value and what's most important to them. So I want to ask you today, are you clear around this? Are you crystal clear on what's most important to you? So we're going to start with this on a personal level, okay? So think of the top 5 personal core values that are non-negotiable for you and define them, write them out. Here are some examples: faith, health, family, freedom, independence, contribution, service, okay? And we're going to just pick one and work through it as an example, all right? Secondly, when we talk about an organization and a team or a business or a community, we then have to take it a step further and really help define what the core values we want to create within our team or our organization would be. And some examples of that could be leadership, integrity, respect, impact, service. When you guys think of One Body, what do you think of? Culture-wise? Faith, what else? Health-focused, right? They have a huge health-focused culture, all right? So there's lots of different teams out there that are gonna bring forward different types of cultures, but you wanna define what type of culture it is that you wanna create, and it starts with you, right? So now, this is where you're gonna feel really unshakable, when you can get clear around, not only do I have these values, but now what are my beliefs around these values? Right? Like I meet people who say they value financial abundance, money, wealth, but then when they dig a little deeper and they start taking the layers off the onion, as Tony Dom would say, when you look at their belief around money, it's not actually quite positive at times. And then we need to be able to dig in deeper and reevaluate and possibly redescribe or reinvent or redefine the belief we hold around these values. Okay, so let's use health as an example, okay, guys? So take that one word, take the one word that you chose, and now let's put some context to it. So we're gonna create a sentence, a belief sentence or a belief statement that supports this value. So if it's health, for example, you could say, living a healthy, optimal life is what will allow me to live a quality life. How many of you believe that? How many of you believe that a quality life starts with health? Okay? Okay, so what about, let's take it now to the organizational level or your business, okay? When we talk about beliefs there, let's talk about financial freedom. Okay, so when we talk about, I value financial freedom or financial independence, what's my belief around that? Why? Right? So the next time you meet somebody and you're leading with your values and your vision and the culture that you want to bring forward within your group, you want to be able to, in a very simple way, break this down, right? And actually, in our team, we do lead and present with this. We share our beliefs when we introduce this incredible vehicle of freedom and health. So financial freedom is one example, and if we read out the belief around it, I truly believe that being a business owner, creating financial freedom and a solid residual income over time is one of the wisest things you could do, not only for now, but for your future. And regardless of how big you want to build this baby, regardless of that, part-time, full-time, small, big, every single one of us, I think, could agree that building any stream of residual income is a very wise thing to do. Do you guys agree with that? All right. So now, here's where I'm going to help you feel unshakable. Has anyone heard of Simon Sinek? He's a powerhouse, right? Now, this quote really nailed it for me. It resonated at such a deep level, and I want to help you get really grounded, okay? I want you to feel like when you're sharing this with people that nothing could shake you. You're going to feel like that rock, okay? So this quote says, "The goal is not to do business with everybody who needs what you have. The goal is to do business with people who believe what you believe." Why do you guys think people are afraid to go out there and possibly share this? What's one of the reasons? We said it earlier. Fear starts with an R. Rejection. Okay? So now here's the important thing to remember. When you're crystal clear around your core values and what you believe, and you're now sharing this with somebody in front of you and leading with this, isn't it going to make you feel that this has nothing to do with rejection? This has to do with, are we the right fit? You following me, guys? So you'll never sense rejection again because this has nothing to do with you. This has to do with maybe we're just not the right fit. Like, do you want someone on your team who doesn't value health? Right? So let's set those expectations. Let's get clear around that because there's really no point of us aligning or joining forces if we don't have the same values. And I can't take that personally. I have to respect every single one of your values. And I'm good with that. I honor that. I thank them for their time and their openness. But at the same time, I understand this has nothing to do with me. This has to do with defining and determining, are we the right fit? Can we support one another in this journey, getting closer to what we want to create together? Does that make you feel empowered? Okay, so don't ever take it as a rejection. This has nothing to do with them saying no to you. This is just them saying no to that this is just not what I value. And that's all good. Thank you. It's just allowed me to become more clear as to who is meant to be part of this journey with me. You got to trust that, okay? Now, let's talk about behavior. This is really interesting. I meet people who say they value health. However, if I look at their behavior, it doesn't necessarily support that. You following me? So like they say they value health, but they don't necessarily they're not conscious of what they're eating. Maybe they're not going to the gym. Maybe they're not taking good supplements. But this is where I want us to make sure that when we say we value something, let's step up and also make sure we're exhibiting the behavior around that. Let's practice that. So an example could be, if I value health, I'm likely going to be an active person. I'm going to be conscious of what I eat. I'm going to use my vitamins. Or example two, if you value working towards financial freedom, how many of you are actually walking out your DMO? Right? Can I see hands? Anybody? Right, so let's get into action. Let's actually provide value. Let's serve people. But the only way we're going to do that is by making sure that we're also exhibiting the behavior. You got to model it. You got to lead by example, right? So here's some tips. Somebody asked, how do you kind of encourage this type of behavior? I know in our team, I think what works, and these are just some examples. There's no right way. There's no wrong way. You've got to look at what suits your the culture you want to create and the things you value most. But I know in our group, I think what's really key is I want to make sure that if I'm going to speak it, I'm going to walk it, right? So practice it, model it, lead by example. You can have some fun incentives. You can do giveaways. Some people really love recognition. You can make that as a part of a way to help encourage certain behavior. Some teams I find have repercussions. You might be late, and there's some teams that are very like strict with being on time culture, contests, as well as defining the expectations, and repeat that and create duplication. Keep it simple. Now, vision and mission, right? So this is full encompassing, right, when we talk about culture. When I first started my business, I had no clue. Like, this was so foreign to me because I had never really looked at any of this stuff. No one had ever educated me in really creating a purpose around my life or even thinking of what is my vision, But I want to make sure that you're clear around this. I can't get into this, and Angela Gray is going to do such an incredible job talking about long-term vision with you guys, but I want to make sure you know the difference and that you have created clarity around this for yourself. All right, so effect versus cause, future versus present, and where are you going, and what will you do to get there? And then your why. So this is a big part of the culture again. Now, when I think of your why, how many people think of their why as like, well, I want to retire my husband. That's my why. Now, that's great and all, but let me share something with you guys. Your why is not a goal. Your why is not a mission. Your why is much bigger than that. Your why has to encompass every single thing you stand for. And this quote nails it. He who has a why to live for can bear almost any how. So that means that your why is so powerful that you can bear anything. And it's got to be full circle, meaning your why's got to be incorporated with your values. It's got to be incorporated with what you believe in, with your vision, your mission, all of the above. It's going to be what makes you wake up in the morning and ready to take on anything. It's not just like, oh, here's my goal, here's my mission. No, it's bigger than that. And it's got to get you so lit up that you're so excited about tomorrow, you're having a hard time sleeping. Who feels that way? Like, you're so passionate about your next morning that you can't even fall asleep because you're so excited. That's how intense your why has to be, right? Now, community. So let's segue into community. How many of you think this is a team sport, this business? Right? It's a team sport, right? So alone, we can do so little. Together, we can do so much. There is not one person in this room who achieves success on their own. I'm only up here because of every single person on my team, because we did it together. There is no way anyone in this organization, in this entire company, would say that they did it on their own. So really, it's all about community. And what does it take? Well, this is where it all comes together, right? You're going to be able to really attract the right type of people in your organization when you can get clear along all of these things. And this is where they're going to find strength. This is where we're going to find support. This is where we're going to feel safe. I always say we are definitely starving at the cellular level. But one thing that's really clear to me is, you know what else we're starving for today? Love, acceptance, feeling like we're part of something. Feeling like we belong, feeling like we're safe, feeling like we're not going to be judged. How many of you feel like we need to create an environment like that? All right, so I love this quote. John Max, and someone else shared it, so I'm going to share it again. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, right? So do you really know your people? Get to know them. Take the time, listen, really focus in on, pay close attention. Ask thought-provoking questions, things that are going to really allow emotion to be evoked. And take that in. Meet them where they're at. I think if we push sometimes people too hard, too fast, that's where they're going to crawl back into their shell and say, you know what, I don't know if I could do this. So support them through that process, right? This is a whole new journey for most of us when we start. Now, Simon Sinek, if you haven't watched this, he has a TED Talk called How Great Leaders Inspire Action. Who's seen it? All right, so he basically interviewed all these incredible heroes that were out in the battlefield saving lives and risking their own lives. And there was this one particular captain who was awarded by Barack Obama for all this incredible stuff that he had done, but there was a paramedic or a medic who was wearing a GoPro camera on his hat or on his gear and caught all of it in action. And not only did this captain go out and save people and bring them back into safety, he would then kiss them and go back out into the battlefield. And I swear that made my whole body lit up, because I thought, wow, talk about pouring love back into the people and then going back out there and risking his life. He didn't just rescue them, he rescued them and kissed them and went back out and just kind of poured into them. And I really feel that if we can pour into our people, you're gonna notice a big shift in cooperation, in trust, right? So when he asked them, why? What is it about you people? Like, you guys are just so incredible. You're heroes. What makes you so different? Why are you willing to do these things and risk your life, the loyalty that you have? And he said that every single one of them responded with the same reason. And the reason was because they would have done it for me. So ask yourself, is that the environment you're creating? You know, would you be willing to sacrifice for somebody else? Would you be maybe willing to give up your seat for somebody else in your team? You know, what are you willing to show or provide or commit to in this process so that they know that, hey, you know what? Not only am I going to do it for them, but it's because they would have done it for me. And that's the environment we want to create in community, all right? Now, some things that we do together, which is so much fun, guys, and this is something that you want to help kind of bring your community closer together, is do events. You know, we do a monthly event. We do weekly webinars and trainings. We definitely know how to celebrate. Who doesn't? We have to have fun, right? Right? We need to make sure that we're having some fun. And you know what I tell people? You know what your number one goal is in this business? Is to make sure no matter how hard it gets, and even if you think you're failing forward, have fun while you're making those mistakes, while you're failing forward. Your whole goal, the whole purpose of this is to grow your emotional intelligence, as Jen Groover says. And the only way you're going to do that is focus on one thing. When things seem really low, is how quickly can I shift back to a place of a high frequency and teach that to my team. That's perspective, right? Social media, special programs. This year was so much fun. We did so many great things, and you know, I'm so blessed to work with such incredible people. I can't even tell you guys how fortunate I am, but you know, we traveled together. I'm going to be honest, like I've probably cried, I don't know how many times this year, because I've done executive lunches and dinners with some of my best friends that are truly my sisters. We've gone on trips. This year we did an incredible street patrol where we went out together and gave back to the homeless people, and we brought our children. It was amazing. So I really want to encourage you guys, you know, bring everyone together and get out there and make it bigger than that. We have a much bigger responsibility than that, right? So this is an amazing quote. Small acts, when multiplied by millions of people, can transform the world. And I'm going to show you guys this picture because it's really old. Actually, Chloe is like new, and Brandon is, I don't know, I think 3 or 4. And sometimes when things, and I remember this, and I share this because this was a time in my business when things got really tough. I had some serious challenges. And I was like a new mom all over again, and it was pretty intense because having a new baby, it's a lot of work, it's crazy. I'm so grateful for my husband who's here today. And honestly, I'm gonna share one thing with you guys real quick. I want you to remember this. Whenever you're feeling like you're really challenged and you're struggling through the journey, this is one thing you can always remember, is that when people are treating you a certain way or responding to you a certain way, take a step back and remember one thing. It really has nothing to do with you, but the relationship they hold with themselves. Right? So if you can let go of that and not stay so attached to the result and be more attached to the growth involved, you're going to go so far with this. And when I think of the bigger responsibility we have as USANA family, it really, my faith calls me to lead the world to a better place than what I entered it. So how many of you feel like we have a much bigger calling here? And our bigger calling is to help the world heal. Let's help the world heal one step at a time, not only on the cellular level, but on the spiritual level, on the mental level, and on the financial level. We have a huge calling, guys, and I'm just so honored that I can be here today and be part of this incredible family and Next Level Youth. So thank you again for having me. I hope this was helpful.